Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. It's that time of the month where we do palette rankings. So I'm going to go over all the palettes that I used in the month of September, where I'm doing my project palette 365, where I use a different palette every day of the week for the next 365 days. I started it in July, so this is the third month, July, August, September, that I'm doing it. I'm currently in October, so I'm doing it now. So I have 30 palettes. Well, I've already decluttered one of them, so I don't have it to show you. I guess I decluttered it because I can't find it anywhere, so I must have done something with it, but it's a mess here, so it could be anywhere, or I could have given it away, and who knows. But it's not here with us. It is no longer here with us, so anyway, let us pray for it that it has found a better home. So let's go ahead, and if you want to see all the 29 palettes that I have to show you, and we will talk about the 30th palette, which was number 29 actually, then hang tight because we are getting right into it. Okay, let's start off with a number 30, which is a little palette I got from Shop Miss A. This is called it's from AOA Studios. It's called Yumi's Debut. I'm guessing that's Yumi right there. This is called Eyeshadow. I don't know. That is Korean, I guess. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a very nice light palette, and nothing wrong with it, but somebody had to go in the number 30 spot. I'm not going to be decluttering it. I'm going to keep it. It has a nice light mid, and I think it was this color. I wasn't really feeling this color right here, but it has some nice shimmers, a nice inner corner highlight color there. This is good for a nice daytime look. I'm definitely going to keep it over here where I have all my little AOA palettes over there, so that's where I'm going to keep that. It just wasn't mine. It was just my least favorite palette, but I'm not going to declutter it or anything like that. Good for a little travel palette for a nice little day look. Nothing wrong with the formula. It's just really light, and I like, you see, I like some dark color here. I think that dark color just wasn't dark enough. Okay, in at number 29, that's the palette that we are sending our thoughts and prayers to. It's the Morphe. I think it's the 35F palette. And it is the Fall Into Fabulous palette. It was one of those big 35 pan palettes where each column on either side, one column on either side was matte, and then all the rest of it was shimmers. So many shimmers, and just a lot of repeat kind of colors like that. The shimmers just weren't shimmering, let's say. Just wasn't giving me what I wanted as far as the shimmer shades go, so I just wasn't feeling it there. And the matte, it was kind of an old palette anyways, so we are sad to see it go. But it's a lot of purples, and I already have a lot of purples in my palette, a lot of purples in my collection, a lot of purple palettes in my collection. Okay, in at number 28, I have the ColourPop Plush Like Me palette. These are all in the medium high category. Medium high, so I didn't have anything in the medium or low categories. This makes a nice look, I liked it. We have the dark shade. We have, there's nothing wrong with this palette. I wish there's some mid-tone shades. Well, let me take a look at this palette. What was wrong with you? It's just kind of boring. It's not going anywhere. But I don't know. If I do another declutter, it might not make it. I do like the packaging, this velvet on here. if I do a declutter, it might not survive, but I'm gonna keep it around for now. Keep it around for now. This next palette I am giving away. I do have somebody that I'm giving it to, only because there's another palette that is in here that is ranked much higher, and it is very similar to this palette. This is from Glamlight. It is the Fresh Prince palette. Very, very colorful, very nice quality, nice bright colors. I just don't know what to do with this palette. I can't wear it like on a daily basis. This palette would need to be for more of a collaborations type palette, but like the other palette I have has more colors in it and would be great for doing a collab. But I have somebody special that I'm giving this to. This does have some texture on it too, but absolutely, this is actually ranked high because it is good, very good quality. I just have no room for it in my collection. Okay, coming in next is this Moira palette. I think I got this in an ice cream beauty box, I think last year at some point. It's called Live in the Moment. And it's ranked high. It made a really pretty look. When you're looking at it, kind of like, I don't know about it, but this shimmer right here is really, really, really pretty. Really, I can't swatch anything or I'll be here all freaking day. And editing me will absolutely throw a fit. Okay, so, because I gotta edit this in the mornings before work. And, anyway, I gotta keep moving. Okay, more purples. We got more purples. This is very pretty palette. Again, this would probably get decluttered if I did a big declutter, but I'm not in the mood for doing a big declutter at the moment since I'm doing my project palette 365. But I mean, I am doing small declutters. If I really don't like a palette, I will declutter it. Okay, Ace Beauté. This one really kind of fell in the ranks. I think mine, I saw Stephanie use hers in her Sassy Divas collab, and hers still had a lot of pigment and was looking really good. Mine has lost a lot of pigment. That's why it's ranked so low, because the pigment just isn't there. I made a really pretty look, but I was just not able to get pigment out of it. Mine is several years old, and I was hoping, there's a lot of palettes in here that are quite a few years old that still have good pigment quality, but this one just wasn't there. This wasn't it. That's why it fell so low. So that's why this one is so low, but I still love the palette. Still really like it. Okay, next, this Too Faced, Aptly in Love. Okay, I don't know, if you've been around, you know the story. They sent me one with this one crushed. Then they sent me another one, and then this one was crushed. So I just kind of gave up in trying to. They sent me, I'm sorry I keep going off on tangents, but they sent me another palette. This is Ulta. Sent me another palette, and another shimmer was crushed in it. So I'm like, can you please send me another palette? And I'm like, well, this time you have to send the original palette back. I'm like, fine, that's fine. But I'll do that. But now I'm wondering if this new palette they're sending me, I think my dad just brought it over here. I'm just wondering if it's going to be crushed as well. So I don't know. I have to check. I have to dig into that. This does smell very nice. That smell like caramel apples. I think that's what it's supposed to smell like. Or candied apples. I don't know. It's just supposed to smell like apples in some sense or not. Anyway. Okay, editing me. I'll get to the point. Anyway, this palette was okay. I think there's too many reds in here. Too many reds. I think I made a look and it just came out too red looking. I should have used the green in it. I still ranked this pretty high, but it was more pigmented than I thought it was going to be. It turned out to be, I was thinking it was going to look kind of ashy, the look, but the look turned out really nice looking. Okay, next is another AOA Studio. This one I've used before. This is the Cherry Blossom Hirosaki palette. I love these purples in here. This one makes a really nice look. If you want some color, some nice color. And these two palettes were like their $1.88 palettes, and you get so much for so little. It's so really nice. So I bought they had like 6 or so of these kind of palettes with different color stories. So I bought like all of them. Of course I did. Who do you think I am? I'm Jennifer Loves Makeup. Of course I'm gonna buy all of them for $1.88. Of course I'm gonna buy all of them. So this is one of my favorite ones because it has the purples in it. So that's what I got there. Why is it so low though? I don't know, because I love all these other palettes more. So next what I have is this Melt Electric palette. Look at that. Isn't that wild? I don't think I used the blues, but I did use like these colors. I did use the red and the orange and those colors. Next time I use this, which will be in over a year, I want to use like these colors over here. But this made a really cool, really nice look that I really like. All these palettes coming up are palettes that I really like. Really like. So this was the first time. This was a new palette. It's not new to the market, but I was able to get it for like half off on Sephora. So I really enjoyed that palette. Next up is the Hip Dot Witchy Warms palette, which I feel like I'm the last person on earth to get this palette because it's been on Ipsy for so long. And I got this palette and I sat on it for a long time before I used it. I don't think this is the first time I've used it though. I think I've had it for a while, but this is the first time I'm actually showcasing it on my channel. I think I've used it like off in private, but this one is really nice. I love the embossings on it, and I just love the warm look. I know I have this palette like in other palettes and stuff like that, but I just like that it's nice and small. This would be a nice one to travel with too, to have around, and because I really want to travel. I really want to travel some more. So this would be nice to have, and it's a nice fall palette. So I really enjoy that one. Good formula. Hip Dot. I've always liked Hip Dot formula. A lot of people like to make fun of Hip Dot, but I really like their formula a lot. Okay, what number are we on? We're on number 20. We're on number 20, and I'm at the Nomad Berlin Underground. This is one of their very old palettes. But I got this palette and I thought, what am I supposed to do with this palette? But the look I made was really quite beautiful. I can't remember the shades I used, but the thing about this palette is a lot of them are very satin shades. They have like a sheen to them, but that shouldn't, like, if you have this in your collection, that shouldn't put you off, because you can still make a very pretty look with this palette. And it has a nice black, and this shade is like a duochrome that you can put in your inner corner that will really set things off nicely. So you can get a really nice look. I think I used that shade. As well as one of these two shades, and I think I used one of the yellows as well. So yeah, this is a really nice palette. I was scared of it for so long. And then this palette, I want to talk about this palette for a second. This is the Ace Beauté Flare palette. This is one of the first palettes I ever got. This is probably the first colorful palette that I ever got when I started doing makeup for 4 years ago or so, when I really started getting into colorful makeup and stuff. I've always been into makeup, but when I started really focusing on my eyes, this was the first colorful palette I got. And I got this way before I got the Falling For You palette. This palette is still very, very pigmented. And it's by the same company, Ace Beauté. And this is their old formula, which everybody said was the bad formula before they went to their new good formula. There's nothing wrong with this formula. It is very good. It's very blendable. It is very pigmented. It's very nice. I find nothing wrong with this formula, and this palette still makes very beautiful looks. I don't know what happened with the Falling For You palette. You know what my friend Shelly told me yesterday when we were on live? She said that because I got that Falling For You palette through BoxyCharm. She said that BoxyCharm sends you the bad palettes. They send us the bad palette. So maybe I got the bad palette with the Falling For You palette. So maybe, I don't know. What are your opinions on palettes that you get through BoxyCharm? If you got palettes through BoxyCharm, do they send us the bad palette? I don't know. I've decluttered most of my palettes that I've gotten from BoxyCharm. That's one of the few palettes that I have left from BoxyCharm. So let me know your opinion on that, because I did not get this through BoxyCharm. I bought this straight from the website. Anyway, thoughts and comments, thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Okay. Then, this is the palette I was talking about when I was talking about the Fresh Prince palette. This is the Rick and Morty palette by Glamlight. See, it looks a lot like the Fresh Prince palette, but in expanded form. So, this is like a neon rainbow palette that I can use for collaborations and doing Instagram looks and stuff like that. So, I think I don't need this in the Fresh Prince palette. This is a very good formula. It's just not for your everyday kind of consumption. This is more for like I said, collaborations and Instagram looks. So I think, does it have a black? I think it's black. You know what? I think Wednesday night. This will go out after Wednesday night. I'm doing a Halloween look with the makeup club. I might use this palette. I was thinking of the Frosted Flakes palette, but then I saw this one. It has more possibilities that I can use. So I might use this palette. Yes. Oh, well, damn it. Okay, then we are going to number 17. Okay, we've got the Unearthly Cosmetics Not Normal palette. We're still in the high category, the ranked high category. I used to not like this palette. I used to not like this palette at all. But then I started getting better at makeup. The first couple of looks I made with this, I just was expecting too much. I was trying to do halo looks with it. This is not a palette you would do halo looks with. No, not at all. So I kind of lowered my expectations with this palette and started making more subdued looks with it. More subdued looks. And when you do more subdued looks with this palette, they turn out absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So this is why I like this palette. I love the artwork of, this is Unearthly Cosmetics. I love the artwork on this palette. It's so pretty. And that is number 17. Okay, I went and got me some more palettes. The next one I've got is from Fantasy Cosmetica. It is the Bard palette, although this isn't my favorite one from Fantasy Cosmetica. This one is quite pretty to use. I hardly ever use that blue shade in there, but if you look at all the other shades around it, it makes a very pretty, very beautiful look. I love Fantasy Cosmetica. In fact, I haven't bought anything from them in a while. I might take a look and see what their Black Friday sale is like and see if I want to buy anything from them at that point. I don't know. I don't think they had a great Black Friday sale last time, so I don't know, but great formula. I kind of wish they had 5 mattes and 1 and 4. Like if they had changed this one to another like matte of some color, I don't know, maybe a darker orange or something like that, I would have liked it. It's just that blue out of nowhere. I'm not a big fan of the pops of blue. I gotta tell you, I'm just not a big fan of the pops of blue. Okay, next on the list, we've got the LA Girl Playmate palette. The Keep It Playful palette in the color story of Playmate. This makes just a really nice, just a really good, it's hard to place this one when I use it because it's just an overall good palette. So it usually ends up in the middle. Or this is like number 16, yeah, this is like in the middle. So, I mean, there's not much to say. This is a good functional palette. Very good palette for making everyday looks. Everyday looks. You can dress it up for the daytime. You can go smoky for nighttime. It's just a good palette. This is from LA Girl. I don't know if I said that. But this I bought at the drugstore. At the drugstore, it's just a really good, solid palette. I don't know what else to tell you. Okay, then we have from Star Wars, the C-3PO palette. I love me a gold, yellow, brown palette. And this is from ColourPop. And I just bought another palette from ColourPop that I really like. That is kind of the gold, the gold, yellow, brown one that I like. I kind of wish that this was all brown. But I do love this honey color right here. I do love this. And I love that for the inner corner highlight. Love that. And I love these golds right here. This one I don't mind there just being, well, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. There's 5 mattes. I like this. I like that there's 5 mattes and 4 shimmers. So that's a good ratio that I like. So, and I really love the theming. I love C-3PO. So we got out our Star Wars palette for the month. I got out some more Star Wars palettes for this month. So we're good going on the Star Wars train. This is another palette that I've had forever. This is the Wet n Wild Coffee Cat palette. This one broke. Wet n Wild will break your heart every time when it comes to packaging. This one, it still kind of smells like coffee, but kind of more like, not the good coffee. It kind of smells like the bad coffee at this point. But this is an old palette too, and this goes to show you that drugstore is not, they don't always use the bad products in drugstore. Drugstore can last a long time too, because this one is still very, very pigmented, very, very nice, very, very good quality. And I know I've had this at least 3 years. So what I'm trying to say is that drugstore quality can still be good quality, can be made to last. It can be made to last. You know, I love the little cat drinking the coffee on the front. I just had to have this when it first came out. Love the color story on it. Nice for fall. I bring this out every fall. Oh, this is the other. Okay, I didn't bring out any ones for this month. I thought I brought this out for this month, but this I used last month. This is the child from Star Wars, the Mandalorian, little Grogu, or Baby Yoda, as I like to call him. It's like when he first came out, everybody called him Baby Yoda, so that's what I decided when I called him. And then they said his name was Grogu or something like that, and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna keep calling him Baby Yoda. So this is a really nice green. green look. Love this. We're still, oh, we turned into the very high, starting with the ColourPop C3PO and the Wet n Wild Coffee Cat, and now this, the child. We're in the very high category. So we love us some ColourPop 9-pan palettes. So this is very high, and we've got, again, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mattes. 5 mattes, 4 shimmers, very good ratio. I don't think I used this one. I don't think that I really used that. That one doesn't look like it's been touched at all. But this, again, we've got a nice inner corner. And then I think this one is a matte, but it's one of those shimmery mattes, but I still use it. And then we got a nice brown going on right there. I don't pull this one out nearly as much. I don't now because I'm doing 365. But when I'm not doing the palette 365, I really need to pull this one out more. So we've got that one. We've got that one at number 12. And then at number 11, I've got my Moira. This one has fallen quite a bit. This one used to clock in at like number 1 consistently every time I pulled it out for the month. This one is the Celestial Love palette. It's losing its pigment. I gotta say, Moira is one of those brands I didn't think would where it would come to this, Moira, but you're kind of losing your pigment on me. I've had this a couple of years now. I absolutely love this color story, but it's breaking my heart. But it still ended up in the very high category, so it's not losing its pigment that much. But I've definitely got some more palettes, and that I definitely love a lot better than this one. So we've got this one, and it's just kind of, it's like on its way. It's like on its way out. It's not like on its way up. It's on its way out. So, Moira, you're kind of breaking my heart. Next, we have the Gemini 2 palette. And again, oh, I just love these colors. I think when I made my look, I didn't use the greens because I just wanted to make it a simple rosy look. I love a rosy look. And I just wanted to keep it simple. I was just making a work look when I did this look. And it's so pretty. And yeah, it just has the 2 shimmers, but that's okay. I think I just made a matte look with it. I might have, I don't know. I don't really remember. I don't write down. I take pictures of my look, but I don't write down what I did, what I do. So yeah, I just love this gradient that we've got going on there. I don't know. That just does something for me. I just love this gradient of rose colors that we've got there. So I gotta respect that. Okay, are we at 10 yet? Okay, we're at number 9. We've reached the top 10. At number 9, we've got ColourPop In the Mood. I'm pretty sure I stuck to the melon colors because I was just doing a work look. I didn't do any of the jewel tones or anything like that, but it made a very beautiful look. I love this palette. I had this palette, then I gave it away, and then I got it again in a mystery box. So I'm glad to have it back. Glad to be using it. I would love to make like an evening look with these blues. That's what I would love to do that sometime. So we've got the ColourPop In the Mood. Love. Okay, if I could just get through this without bringing that sign down again, I would be happy. Okay, at number 8, we have got the Tarte Sweet Cravings palette. This is probably one of the palettes that if I had to choose 10 palettes to keep and had to get rid of all the rest of my palettes, I think this is one of the ones I would definitely keep. This is so cute. It's so pretty. It looks like a box of chocolates. And it makes the most beautiful looks. I love the shimmers. I love the mattes in it. It's just so pretty. Look at it. It's so pretty. I just love that. Anyway, that's what I got for number 8. For number 7, I've got the Natasha Denona My Dream palette. This I don't think I would put in my top 10, even though I rank these not by as my favorite palette, but the look that I did. Like, how did the look turn out that I did with it? So the look I did with this, I liked more than the look I did with the Sweet Craving palette. So it could go like, if I did it again and I did the look with the Sweet Craving palette like I did this month, the look could turn out better than the look I did with this one. It could be different every month. So I just like the look that I did with this one better. Does that make sense? I'm not saying that because I think that I'm saying that because I'm just wondering if my explanation is good or if I'm not explaining it well enough. Okay, so the look I did with this one came out really nice, and I love this multi-chrome right here, but I don't think I would put this in my top 10 favorites of all time palettes, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, so really pretty palette. Formula is still good. I've had this for a couple of years now, a year and a half or so. Pigment's still holding up. Everything's good. Everything's great with it. We love this. I can't wait to use my retro palette because I've had that for a while now. And I would love to see how that one is holding up. I don't know if I have that for next month or not, or for this. I don't really know if I have that for this month or next month. We'll have to see. Okay, my next palette that I have is my Nomad Hudson Valley palette. And I really, really love this palette. I used these colors over here to make the look. I think if I had used these colors over here, it would have ranked a lot higher. But I think I do have this one in my top 10 palettes because I did do a ranking. I haven't made a video on it, but I did when I was bored think of like what would be the top 10 palettes that I would keep, and I think I put this one on that list. So if you'd like me to share that list with you, let me know in the comments. But this is definitely one of my favorite Nomad Cosmetics palettes. It's the Hudson Valley one. I love that it doesn't have a lot of shimmers, so that way I don't feel like I have to use shimmers, that I can make. I think when I made the look, I just made a matte look and it came out really, really nice. So we love this palette. This one's definitely on my top 10 palettes that I would keep, is the Lunar Beauty Nude Prism palette. I went on to say one time that this was like my favorite palette in my collection. I don't think that's true anymore. I don't think that's true. I don't know if I can say I don't know if I really know what my favorite palette is in my collection, but I don't think it's this one anymore. But we are onto the very highest. The Hudson Valley was very highest. This Lunar Beauty Nude Prism is very highest. So I can make a very good everyday look with this palette. I could make a very good, nice evening look with this palette. I think that it's getting a little old. That's just my opinion. I think it's getting a little old. I don't know. It might just have a couple years left in my collection. I don't think it's my favorite palette anymore. So that's just that. Okay, we are down to the final 4. Number 4, this came out of nowhere and surprised me because I thought this is the Yucca palette by Natasha Denona. The first time I used this palette and why I haven't brought it out in a long time was because I don't think I liked it the first time I used it. But when I used it this last time, oh my gosh, I just made the most fabulous look. And these shimmers are absolutely fantastic. I didn't use that color. Let's not look at that color. Okay, that color might scare some people off, so don't look at that color. Don't look at that color. Look at all the rest of the colors. You might think, oh, they just look like mustardy, piss yellow colors, but they're really pretty on the eyes. They're really pretty on the eyes. Or maybe you like that color. Maybe we should not hide that color. Maybe you like that color. It's not her prettiest palette. I will say that. It's not her prettiest palette, but it kind of does something for me. It kind of does something for me. I didn't think I was going to buy it, but I bought it on sale. And then I tried it out and I didn't like it. But this last time I tried it, I liked it. That's why I'm doing this palette 365, to pull out palettes that I didn't necessarily think that I was going to like, but they're surprising me. These palettes are surprising me. Okay, at number 3, I've got Unearthly Cosmetics. Unearthly Cosmetics palettes, especially their newer palettes, are always gonna probably be up in the numbers, up in the top tiers. This is the Fall Magic palette, and oh my gosh, these colors, oh, do something for me. Okay, we got a couple other colors like that. I don't remember. I think I used this pretty much early on in the month, so it's hard to remember what look I did, but there's something about an Unearthly Cosmetics shimmer that just, oh my gosh, that just does me in. I am telling you, Unearthly Cosmetics really knows how to do shimmers. Unearthly Cosmetics and Glam Light, and you're about to see. Okay, so we got the Fall Magic palette for number 3. Then at number 2, I did a video with the High Temp palette, and this is a perfect palette for those Indian summer days, especially in Texas, that we're having right now, that are in the 90s. Oh my god. In the 90s, this is a pretty palette to use for that. That video didn't get a lot of views, but those of y'all that saw me use this palette, y'all know how beautiful that look turned out. And if you mix this color with this color, you get a really nice multi-chrome look. So I thought that was really nice, really neat. So that is the High Temp palette. And then the palette that I never thought I'd buy, but I really like the theming. But I just really didn't think I was going to buy it. And then Glam Light had one of their TikTok flash sales, and then I went and bought it. Was the Glam Light Garfield palette. I think I did a Get Ready With Me for Work with this one, and oh my gosh, this palette is chef's kiss quality. Oh my gosh, it is. This I put at very highest of all time. I wouldn't say this is my favorite palette in my collection, but it is definitely one. It's definitely in the top 10 of palettes that I would keep if I had to get rid of all my palettes except 10 palettes. This palette would be in the top 10 for sure. I love this palette. I think everybody should own this palette. Don't be afraid of this orange. Don't be afraid of orange colors. And this color, I love it when palettes have this color, this wine color in it. And I understand that orange isn't for everyone. Oranges, yellows, I love all colors. Let's just say that. I love all colors. But there's just something about this palette. I just really, really like this palette. And I love Garfield. I've always loved Garfield. I used to read them in the funnies when I was a child growing up. And I used to own the Garfield books. The Garfield books where they had the compilation of all the funnies in the books. I used to own that. So those are the top, or those are not the top 30. Those are the 30 palettes that I used this month in September of 2024. Let me know what you think. Do you own any of those palettes? Do you like any of those palettes? Do you dislike any of those palettes? Let me know what you think down in the comment section. And please give this video a thumbs up. Please share it with your friends if you think they would enjoy it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you. I would love to have you. That sounded creepy, I know. I'm here after work. I have a lot of energy after work. So I have to film after work because that's when I have the most energy. So when I film in the mornings before work, like when I do my get ready with me's for work, I notice I'm very subdued. I don't have a lot of energy. I talk like this, but when I film after work, I'm like very hyper. I know it is. So yeah, okay, so with all that said, and I know I'm at 42 minutes and my editing self is like absolutely furious with me. I know this because tomorrow morning I gotta start editing this, and I am going to just be furious with myself. Okay, so with all that said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, goodbye.